The first thing God does is that God empowers him. That's the first advantage of godly living, holy living. That's the first advantage of character. In Psalm 24 verse 3, it says, who shall stand upon the mountains of the Lord? Who shall ascend his holy hills? That means, who will God give the opportunity to wield the scepter of authority? Who will God give visibility over a generation? Who will God give control of a people? Who will God allow authority to impact a generation? And the Bible began to tell us. He said, him that is of a clean hands, him that is of a pure heart, that have not lifted up his soul in vanity. That means, if your hands are not clean, if your heart is not pure, if your heart is not in brokenness and humility, he said God will be the one resisting you. That is why you may have all the creativity, but nobody will know you. That is why you have all the words, nobody will know you. That is why you have all the invention, nobody will take advantage of it, because he said, if it's God, for God to exhort you over a generation, for God to give you authority over a generation, what God looks at is not what you can do, it's who you are. Is your hand clean? Is your heart pure? Is your soul lifted up in vanity? If all of these credentials are there, then God will exhort you over his hills. And remember what happens to a man that God have ascended or caused to ascend over his hills. What did the Bible say? In Micah chapter 4 verse 1, it said, all the nations will say, let us go to the house of the Lord. Let us go to his holy hills. He said, for out of Zion proceeds the law. That means where direction comes for the nations is on the mountains of God. And so the man who is on the mountain of God gives direction to the nations. He influences the nation. He inspires the nation. He tells the nations what to do. But who is the man that God will give the opportunity to stand on his holy mountains? Is the man that is of a clean hands. It's a man that is of a pure heart. So if you want to have authority to influence a generation, you want to have authority to influence a nation, what you should focus on is not God lift me. It's actually God purify me. Because if you are purified, there is one place God will keep you. It's upon the holy mountains of God. And if you're on the mountains of God, the nations of necessity will seek you, because you will be the one to give them direction. The Bible said God exalts the humble, but he said he resists the proud. He resists the proud. He giveth grace to the humble. What does grace do? Grace comes to cause you to stand out. It can come in form of wisdom. It can come in form of creativity. It can come in form of empowerment. That's what it means to stand on the mountain of God. There are many people today who are wondering why they have such a golden voice, yet nobody hears them. Because they have not been exalted. There are many people today that have 1,001 ideas that would have changed their world. But everywhere they submit their proposal, it is trashed. And they are wondering, why would these doors not open? Why would these opportunities not be given? Because God will not exhort you. God will only exhort you when your motives are pure. God will only exhort you when your hands are pure. So quit the wrong prayers. You have been praying for 10 years. Open doors for me. You have been praying for 10 years. Exhort me. And the Bible is telling you, the man that will stand upon his holy hills is a man with a pure hands. Is a man with a clean heart. So what you should start praying now is, Lord, purify me. Lord, purge me. Did you not read in 1 Timothy chapter 2 from verse 18? It said, if a man purges himself, he said that man is meet and qualified for the master's use. That means when your life is full of garbages, the focus of God is not your exhortation. The focus of God is actually your purification. Because if God exhorts you in error, you are finished. Did you not read about Adam? God created Adam to rule over the whole earth. In fact, when God blessed Adam, he said, have dominion over the birds of the air, the fish of the water, and everything that creepeth upon the face of the earth. The moment Adam defied himself, God drove him out of the garden and sent him into obscurity. Why would God send a man designed to rule over the earth into obscurity? Because if that man is exalted in error, he will be eternally condemned. There are most of us today that the level of money we should handle, God himself is the one stopping us from handling it. Because if we handle that money today, it will fester our corrupt nature, and a point will come we will never be redeemed again. Most of us, the ideas we have today, the president of nations are supposed to come for it, but God will insist it doesn't happen, because if that level of influence comes, we will never be recovered again. We will be so lost that even if the whole power in heaven were to be channeled in our direction, we will be beyond recovery. So what God will do is that he will keep those doors waiting for the day that you are purified. And the day you are purified, like the twinkling of an eye, things just changes, and you are wondering, is it so easy for me to have a breakthrough? Yes, it's that easy, but it is difficult for you to be transformed. That's why God faced the difficult part first. The moment your transformation is ensured, your change comes to you by free course. Believers focus on the wrong things. You have not been able to deliver yourself from the influence of clubbing, and you are telling God to empower you so that you will build a club in your own house. You have not yet been delivered from the influence of womanizing. You are telling God to breed upon this your idea to become a global vision, so that you start camping Brazilian ladies, Turkish ladies, Ethiopian ladies. You will travel for 1 year, they will not see you. The next time you return, your first son will be in Congo, your second son will be in Italy, your third son will be in Ethiopia. And at the end of the day, you empower all of them, and they bring chaos into the world. God has seen the end. His name is Alpha Omega. And because he has seen the end, he wants to work on you first before he empowers you. Because the man that will stand upon the holy mountains of God is the man that is of a pure heart. You know, people see the men God uses in politics, in ministry, in commerce, and they are wishing they should be the one. Go and find out how God dealt with those men. That's why now that they have been exalted, those things mean nothing to them. You are seeing the car they are driving. You are seeing the suits they are wearing. That's what's motivating you. Those things mean nothing to them. In fact, those things are camouflage. They need to wear them because of where they are operating. You see a man carry escorts. It's not for luxury. The level where he is now, there are too many people trying to destroy him. So he needs some form of security around him. But in your loftiness of mind, you'll see the military escort as prestige. And then you are seeing yourself, you will go nowhere. When you meet that man, what troubles him night and day is how the lives of people will be changed. When you see him come up with an invention, it's not because he's looking for money. He's thinking of better ways of improving the lives of people. And the more he thinks on these things, the more ideas come to him. But somebody else is looking for the next innovation that will make him the youngest millionaire. Vanity upon vanity. Vanity upon vanity. That's why we go nowhere. When your motives are purified, God begins to empower you. Number two, when your motives are purified, God begins to give you creative ideas. Most of the inventors today, they were not thinking invention. They were actually thinking of improving the lives of humanity. So somebody see people trekking, riding on horses for 2 months to get to a location, and is wondering, how can human beings get to their destination faster? How can human beings be saved from the peril of the crisis of having to travel long distances, going through deserts? And as he's there thinking, he looks at a bird, and he said, birds fly. Is it possible for metals to fly? And on the strength of that, ideas began to come. What he's trying to deal with is the problem of transportation, not just to be called another inventor. And as those things burden him, it triggers into creativity. But you will never think like that until you are purified. Because if you are not purified, you will keep thinking self. And the more you think self, the smaller you become. So creativity is one of the byproducts of those who are purified. Because when they are purified, they quit thinking themselves, they start thinking others. And the moment they start thinking others, things begin to open up for them.